Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Monday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. You know it. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, when I came across this story this morning, I knew I had to talk about it. Honestly, when I saw this story, it elicits fear in me. It's about Donald Trump and a rally in New Hampshire this last weekend. And there's a heckler in the crowd. And I'm sure you guys remember what Donald Trump has done with hecklers before. You know, he's encouraged his supporters to rough them up on the way out, that he'll pay the bills. He's actually said this before. A lot of people say they despise Donald Trump. They can't stand him. They hate him and all this other stuff. And I've talked about this before. And, anger and hate, it really is fear. And I'll be honest, man, what I saw in this video, it scares me. It scares the bejesus out of me. I'm still in the early part of this video, so I can't swear. Okay, I'm going to describe to you what's the link's right down below. And like I said, this just happened. And it's the way his supporters react to this. I mean, it's just the anger and animosity and the middle fingers. What is it with Trump supporters? And the only way they can express themselves is through violence, anger, hate, and the middle finger. If they didn't have the middle finger, they wouldn't be able to speak at all. They wouldn't be able to communicate with other Americans if they didn't have their middle finger. Seriously, I thought about when's the last time I used the middle finger, and I can't remember. Also, I'm going to talk about how the way Obama handled hecklers, the way Joe Biden handled a heckler just 5 months ago, and how this reminds me of when I took a knee at a Stop the Steal rally. And I got all these links down below. Let me start with the Trump rally just the last few days. Okay, so Trump's talking about whatever. I think he's talking about the southern border, and you hear somebody yelling, and he stops, and he just says, throw him out of here. You know, and the look on his face, I'll be honest, like I said, I talk about how people can't stand him. And, I'm one of those people, the way he talks, every single nuance about this guy, I can't understand what people see in him. I can't. And the look on his face, he says, get this guy out of here. Throw him out. That's what he says. And this guy, you see a bunch of people moving quickly down the aisle, and I had to watch it a couple times to figure out exactly where the heckler was. You see a couple policemen, one policeman in particular, and this policeman looks like he's not fooling around. This guy is just voicing his freedom of speech, really. I mean, it's rude to interrupt somebody. When somebody is giving a speech, it really is. It's not courteous. It's not right to interrupt somebody. But other politicians have handled this so much better, and this is why I'm more than fearful of what's going to happen at the end of this year. I really think it's chaos for this country. Okay, so they take this guy down, and for some reason they turn down one aisle, and he gets roughed up. He gets turned around and spun around. They drag him down the other way. And if you watch, I watched the Trump supporters in this video, and they are they're surging towards this guy, and all you see is middle fingers. Like I said, if it wasn't for the middle, what is it with middle fingers? And I really get the feeling more and more that Trump supporters just want to burn everything down. I believe the reason people support Donald Trump is because people like me are fearful of him. And regardless of whether he's good or not for the country, I think they just want to vote for him because other people, the people that you don't agree with, like me, are fearful of him. And they really get off on that. They get off on other people being scared. It's not like traditional politics. Okay, so that's what happens in this video. Like I said, the link's down below. And just watching this, just the anger and animosity in this crowd. Trump with his sneer. Throw them out. It really does remind me of the brown shirts in 1930s Germany. That's exactly what I see when I look at this. Get him out of here, and they just rough this guy up, and let me get a piece of him. If he doesn't agree with us, let's tear him apart. It's craziness. And what's going to happen, when Trump loses this election, or if he wins this election, either way, I'm resigned to the fact that this is chaos and the apocalypse for our country. I know it sounds, I really believe that. Okay, down below, I wanted to see how I was trying to remember how Obama handles hecklers, and down below there's a couple links. And Obama handles it so much better. He handles it with humor. and he tells a story. He says, wait a minute. He goes, this is my house. You don't interrupt it. And Obama makes a comparison. He says, you wouldn't do this if somebody was speaking at your job or something. No, and he's reasoning with the person. And this, to me, is more like the way this country was intended to be. The way you have conversations, sometimes they get lively, they get animated, they get angry, but there's always a conversation and compromise. Especially compromise. That's what I believe. Like just lately, with this kicking the budget can down the road, how every month we are facing the shutdown of our country because people, and especially this one group of MAGA Republicans, will not compromise. They just want to burn everything down. They want the government to shut down, and that is that to me, that I don't get. And it's people from my generation, mostly males from my generation, that are just so angry and hateful, and they just like I said, they support this guy because he scares other people. I don't get it. I'll never get it. Okay, down below there's another clip of Joe Biden handling Heckler just back in September, and just five months ago. And this is why, this right here is reason enough why I will definitely vote for Joe Biden, 100%, the way he handles this video. All right, so he's talking, and Heckler comes up, and Joe Biden says this. He says, I'll be glad to talk. Look, if you just be quiet and let me finish, I'll be glad to come off and talk to you after and hear your concerns. If you just, and he goes like this, if you just shush up. He doesn't even say shut up. He says, shush up. And to me, I freaking love that. There's no need to be anger, to throw anger and threats at the other person in this country. There's really not. It's how we've gotten to this point where we're so separated. And we despise each other so much. It's not the way this country was intended. This country was intended to compromise, for conversation and compromise, to come up with the best solution. A democracy, the majority rules. That's the way this country. And I do not believe that the majority of this country supports Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form. They didn't in 2020, and they certainly don't now. It's the people that want to burn it all down. The more Trump gets arrested, the more they want to vote for him. What is that about? And they don't believe anything. They refuse to believe facts right in front of their faces about what he's done, about the insurrection, about this. And anything he says is truth. It's become a cult. It's not about politics anymore. Okay, now down below there's a clip of me. I've talked about this before, and this is one of my proudest moments. Back in 2020, 3 weeks after the election in 2020, when Trump said that the election was stolen, there was a Stop the Steal rally in my little town. I came out of the library and I looked down the street, and this is right at the end of November 2020, and I'm all by myself, and I see the Trump flags and everything, and I'm just like, no, I've had it with this. So I get in my little Honda Fit, and I drive down there. I find a place to park right next to it. It's just the rally is just starting. I get out of my car, and I'm just in time for the national anthem. And I'm like, I know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to exercise my right to freedom of speech. So I go out there, and this is where the video starts. Funny thing, this video did not get monetized. It got yellow lighted because, check this out, it got yellow lighted because of the music. Because the national anthem is sung by, I think it's Whitney Houston, I think. And I can't make money because somebody else's song is playing in the background. Check that out. And that sucks. I couldn't believe I actually got yellow lighted on one of the the video I'm probably most proud of. Besides for my Below the Fifth Column video, they actually got like 170,000 views at this point. I'll put the link to that down below too. And this is one of my most proudest moments. So I take a knee at the national anthem. And right away, you can hear these Trump supporters saying, get him, look at him. And there's like about 100 Trump supporters all around this field, this green. And they all start coming at me. And you'll see this. They're all carrying their Trump flags like blankets around them. And they surround me. So people can't see me. They're right up against me. And I'm on my knee. And right at that point, I was resigned to the fact that I was going to get my butt kicked. And I'm okay with that. Let them come. Let them come at me, because I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. And my adrenaline was at 10 at that point. Now I want to watch the guy behind me. Again, the middle finger, all right? And I didn't even realize this until after when I watched the video. So one of these Trump supporters gets behind me, right? So I can't see him. I got my camera up, I'm on one knee, I got my phone up. And I'm, going around and got it on myself. And this is back during COVID and all that, so I have the mask on. And then, after I get home, I'm shaking, and I do another video. I'll put the link to that one too. I'm still shaking when I got home because I thought for sure that I was going to get jumped. They surround me, and they're yelling, "Get him!" And the guy behind me, when I'm not looking, starts giving me the finger. Okay, I can't see him, right? So when I turn the camera around, he hides it. He puts his hand over his heart like this. Right, so the camera gets on him, but then when my camera's off him, he puts it back right behind my, he's like this far from the back of my head, and I didn't even know it was there, and he's not touching my head, but he's right behind my head, and I turn around, he hides it again, so what's that about? Seriously, is that the most chicken shit thing I have ever seen in my entire life? Seriously. He's giving me the finger, but he doesn't want me to see it or my camera to see it. Seriously, he just wants his buddies to see it. That he's got the guts to give me the finger, but he doesn't want me to know. Is that what Trump supporting is about? Seriously? If you took away these guys' middle fingers, they wouldn't be able to express themselves. And I am embarrassed and ashamed and disgusted by a lot of the people of my generation, Generation X, for supporting this brown shirt bully. All right. The links will be down below. You guys, I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a good Monday.